This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Yunxiao's figure was constantly slashed apart in the space, then turned into a beam of light and disappeared. All that was cut was an afterimage, but the speed of the sword light was getting faster and faster, approaching him step by step. "Cut your sister, aren't you tired?" Yunxiao gave a furious roar and finally stopped. Holding the cold sword in his hand, he greeted the incoming attack with the 1,000-feet sword technique. Bang! Go Riguang's sword chi was so fierce that it made Yunxiao's body go numb and he kept retreating. Without the slightest chance to catch his breath, Go Riguang's figure flickered as he caught up to them. The large sword in his hand didn't stop for even a moment. Within the 100 sword lights, he raised his sword and circulated his chi. An unparalleled sword light condensed and streaked across the sky, slashing through the void. Yunxiao was taken aback. Go Riguang's strength was at least no weaker than Mo Xiaochuan. This place was a little strange, and he could not sense everyone's cultivation base with his divine sense. The strange feeling came from the bottom of the river. At the same time, there was a martial emperor hiding in the river. If he had not walked quickly when he fell in, he would have been buried under the river. It seems that in order to kill me, you did put in some capital. Yunxiao took out the mirror of sunset clouds with his left hand and held it in front of him. Bang! The sword chi hit the mirror and split into two in an instant. Most of it was sent back the way it came, while the other half went through the mirror and headed toward Yunxiao. The devil sky silk was revealed at this moment, and the sword chi shook the armor. The pitch-black armor that was surrounded by demonic chi was shaken out, and the demonic chi was dispersed. Yunxiao's body was also wounded, and his blood and chi were in turmoil. A mouthful of blood flowed up his throat, and a sweet taste of blood filled his mouth. What? Go Riguang's heart jolted with shock, and he instantly struck out with his sword again, slashing towards the reflected sword light. A large ball of blinding light exploded, and only then did he manage to avoid being injured by the sword light. What kind of mirror is that? It can actually counter-shock attacks? Go Xingguang's eyes focused, and he revealed a look of joy. He shouted, "Third brother, quickly kill him and take the mirror and sword." Yunxiao's face darkened. This Go Riguang, the one in the water, and Go Xingguang, who was next to Ruan Xiling, there were at least 3 martial sovereigns lurking here, and all of them had extraordinary strength. If he wanted to leave, no one could stop him, but it would be even more difficult to kill the 3. Your strength isn't bad, but you can't escape death. Go Riguang spat out these few words concisely, and his body instantly flew up, slashing down with his sword light again. He had learned his lesson this time, and didn't dare to use too much of his full strength. He didn't want to be reflected back by the other party's treasured mirror and catch himself off guard. With a flash between Yunxiao's eyebrows, the calabash little King Kong flew out, which grew huge in the blink of an eye and threw a punch. Boom! The fist landed on the sword light, and a powerful aftershock burst out. The gored little King Kong was sent flying by the sword chi, and only a crack appeared on his fist. He immediately roared and pounced forward. This time, he didn't use the Vajra punch, but his 2 fists kept smashing down in the air like a madman. The sky was filled with fist shadows and the rumbling sound of space breaking. What is this? Go Riguang's heart jolted with shock. The fist shadows that filled the sky were so dense that even the wind couldn't pass through. Every strike was like a 9th-tier profound artifact smashing down. Although it wasn't able to cause him any fatal injuries, he had no choice but to block. He also raised his sword and started to dance around him. Sword chi slashed out and broke the fist radiance. Soon, the gored little King Kong's fist wind was suppressed, and the sword light continued to cut directly on his body, making a bang, bang sound of metal clashing, but it was useless. It did not reduce the gored little King Kong's fighting spirit at all. The more it fought, the braver it became. Moreover, it gradually pressed closer to the sword chi, and the fist in its hand did not weaken at all. Ruan Xiling was a little dumbfounded. He said awkwardly, "Is this a puppet?" Initially, he thought that the battle would end in an instant with the help of a martial emperor. He did not expect it to drag on for so long. Moreover, it looked like Go Riguang was starting to lose. Go Xingguang was also feeling a little dizzy. It should be a puppet, right? However, Ying is a puppet. Why is she roaring so furiously? A handsome young master said, I have some understanding of the art of puppets. Sometimes, in order to make it more realistic, sound wave formations will be embedded in it. For example, this beast-shaped puppet can be made with the roars of the beast kings. It can appear more realistic and scary. Look at the strength of his body, it's definitely made of 9th rank materials. Otherwise, even a 9th rank monster beast wouldn't be able to take so many sword chi strikes without being hurt. It's the 9th tier material, Kasaya, again. Go Xingguang exclaimed in surprise. Young Master Xiling, what is the background of this person? I can see that his treasured sword, treasured mirror, and even the treasured armor that he revealed earlier are all 9th grade profound armaments. His heart was filled with apprehension. Even a direct descendant of the Jiang family would not be able to receive such luxurious treatment. Ruan Xiling's heart was also in a mess after hearing what he said. He then thought of how Jiang Ruabing was definitely not an ignorant person. She had so easily transformed her body into lightning and sent it out. Could it be that this kid really had a great background? When he thought of how Ning Hengfeng was very confused and afraid of Yunxiao's method of killing Cheng Yang in the restaurant, he immediately broke out in a cold sweat. He was almost certain that the man in front of him had an extraordinary background. Uncle Go, it's too late to speculate about his origins now. We've already done half of the job. This kid will die today. He shouted. To tell you the truth, I don't know where he came from either. I only know that he must die today, or you and I will both be in trouble. Ruan Xiling's expression softened a little and he said, Uncle Go, you've been guarding this Agarine for several decades. Once this matter is over, I will definitely find a way to transfer you back. Go Xingguang's heart trembled, and a fierce look appeared in his eyes. He gritted his teeth and said, all right, no matter what his background is, the 3 brothers of the Go family will be tied to the same worship as young Master Xiling today. A wave of primordial qi rippled out from his body, and his long robe fluttered. With a flash, he flew above Yun Xiao, and with a sword in his hand, he slashed down. When a martial emperor powerhouse attacked, he did not even say a word and only wanted to kill in one blow. By the time Yun Xiao discovered it, the surrounding space had been locked by the opponent's emperor qi. The power of this sword was even stronger than that of Light Cutting Hook, and could be compared with the strike of the tyrannical Sky Tiger. He picked up the mirror and also gathered 10,000 rays of light and shot them out, trying to confuse the other party's eyes. Go Xingguang felt a sharp pain in his eyes, exactly the same as when the tyrannical Sky Tiger attacked him. The sword qi shook the mirror, making a loud bang. A tremendous force passed through the mirror and hit Yun Xiao, throwing him into the river and splashing water. A light suddenly appeared on the surface of the river. Slowly, a green array flashed on the water's surface and disappeared. Seeing this, the calabash little King Kong suddenly roared and stopped its attack with Go Riguang. It rushed into the river and disappeared with a splash. Go Xingguang and his brother were stunned for a moment. As they hovered in the air above the river, strange expressions appeared on their faces. Ruan Xiling flew forward and hurriedly said, why aren't you chasing? Don't let him escape. Don't worry, young Master Xiling, Go Xingguang said. The array that appeared just now should be the Taihua Gold Talisman locking array that seals the Agarine. Li Yunxiao must have touched it and been trapped inside. I'm afraid it won't be long before it is refined. Ruan Xiling frowned and asked suspiciously, you're sure he'll be refined? Of course, Go Xingguang replied with a smile, this is a formation specially used to refine Agarine. Even that 9th-ranked puppet will undoubtedly be refined. It's a pity that he has so many treasures. He sighed. Ruan Xiling still seemed to be worried and said, how long will it take to completely refine it into dregs? At most, half a day will be enough, Go Xingguang replied. Even if he's lucky enough to escape death, my second brother is still guarding below. It'll be absolutely safe. Young Master Xiling, you can rest assured. In that case, I'll wait for half a day, Ruan Xiling nodded. It's so boring on this great river. Why don't you come to my house and have a seat, young Master Xiling? My third brother can guard this place, Go Xingguang said with a smile. Ruan Xiling then entered the nearby orchard with Go Xingguang. Go Xingguang, on the other hand, directly sat down in the air above the large river and began to cultivate quietly. When Yunxiao was thrown into the river by the sword, he was immediately swept up by a strange force and sucked down to the bottom of the river like a vortex. At the same time, his armor and the power of his golden body emerged and automatically protected him. He was also extremely curious. The power that suppressed his divine sense seemed to have come from the bottom of the river. He also wanted to see what it was, so he allowed the power to sweep him down. Soon, it was washed to the bottom of the river by the current and the force, and the pulling force disappeared. However, what came with it was an even more bizarre force that pressed down from the sky, as if it wanted to kill all living beings. Yunxiao was taken aback. The devil sky silk emerged from his body, and demonic energy kept rolling out of it. Apparently, it was trying its best to resist the pressure, and the demonic energy was being consumed violently. Yunxiao performed an incantation gesture with one hand, and a few runes flew out and struck in all directions. After flying for only a dozen meters, they turned into a faint light and dissipated into the water. It's a refining formation. What kind of formation is so powerful? Yunxiao was surprised. He instantly judged the effect of the array, but he was a little surprised by its power. Even a battle suit like the demonic sky armor seemed to be a little overwhelmed. This is strange. How could there be such a killing formation in a perfectly fine river? Yunxiao pondered for a moment, then began to sense the river. The strange divine sense suppression came faintly, and he slowly swam in that direction. Soon, he saw a stone building, which was a simple energy directing array. In the center of the array was a model of an altar. It was only half the height of a person, and on top of it was an ordinary stone with a decadent color. At first glance, it gave people a sense of shock. An decadent color appeared on the stone, giving him a hallucinatory feeling. Yunxiao's mind trembled, and his vision began to slacken. Suddenly, the demonic dragon's roar came from within his soul, and he was jolted awake. In his shock, he hurriedly executed his eye technique, and waves of mental energy spread out to block the strange power. With his ability, he was almost taken in by the stone. One could imagine the shock in his heart. There's something strange about this stone. Even I feel very uncomfortable about it. This killing formation should be set up to deal with this stone. The demonic dragon said in shock. Yunxiao performed an incantation gesture with both hands, and his third eye suddenly opened. The three eyes formed different shapes, and their power shot straight into the stone, trying to see through it. That stone seemed to have sensed something. Just as it was about to clear the clouds and reveal its true appearance, an inexplicable force intercepted the eye technique's divine sense and rebounded it back in the direction of the investigation. The backlash was unimaginably fast, and it arrived almost instantly. It broke the eye array in front of Yunxiao and shot into the immemorial heavenly eye between his eyebrows. Yunxiao's forehead was struck by the force, and it exploded with a bang. His spiritual altar and ocean of consciousness were thrown into chaos, and he roared several times as his body rolled in the water, as if he were in great pain. Li Yunxiao. The demonic dragon was shocked and quickly chanted a mind-clearing spell. A strange sound came out of his body, but it was to no avail. Shut up, you mixed blood trash bug. Suddenly, Yunxiao roared, his eyes turning black as he was completely demonized, with black demonic patterns on his skin. He stared at the stone, and a look of surprise gradually appeared on his face. Then, he suddenly burst into joy and laughed wildly. Agorine. It was actually Neo Knight. It was really like he had worn out his iron shoes in a long search, but found it without any effort. It seems I'm the true fate ruler. With an excited look on his face, he walked toward the raw stone step by step. Suddenly, an invisible force stopped him. He tried to push forward with all his might, but he was knocked away and rolled over and over in the water. What the hell is this formation? Yunxiao was bewildered. His appearance had changed, and he now looked exactly like Di Yi. He looked around carefully, but the third eye between his eyebrows had not faded away. It was tightly closed, with blood oozing out. With the Agarine, all divine sense is blocked. It seems that we can only break the formation with force. With a fierce look in his eyes, Yunxiao stepped forward and slowly formed a strange incantation gesture with his hands in front of him. Gradually, a black shadow emerged behind him, and as he performed the incantation gesture, the black shadow also struck down with its palm. Whoosh! The sound of water gurgled as the black shadow's giant palm struck down, pouring into the array around the stone and sending out a large amount of demonic chi. A ray of green light appeared in the array around the stone, blocking all the aura outside, unable to penetrate it in the slightest. What? Yunxiao's face turned ferocious. After a moment of hesitation, he reached out his right hand and began to constantly activate the Divine Realm tablet floating above his dantian, trying to take it out and smash the array in front of him. But as time passed, he tried to use it for a while but to no avail. He immediately cursed, "Damn it. With so many good things in his body, he actually didn't let me use a single one. The killing array here is extremely powerful. If you don't cooperate with me, the two of us will die without a doubt." But, no matter how he cursed, he could not use any of the profound level weapons in Yunxiao's body. Damn it. I'm a demon master, I don't believe I can't break this formation. The devil roared a few times and raised his right hand high. A ball of devil chi turned into a long spear in his hand. It slowly gathered energy, making the spear more solid. Circles of energy rippled from it. Clear, peace, split, waste. The demon concentrated all his demonic vitality on the spear. With every word he uttered, a demonic pattern appeared on the spear. In an instant, it caused the river to flow and roll up thousands of layers of waves. Its power shook the bottom of the river. Demon Master Kill. The black devil spear was thrown out from his hand, and the devil chi shook the river, causing the world to change. The water in the river turned black. Boom, boom, boom. The huge stone array made a cracking sound under his spear, and the broken stones rolled around like profound weapons at the bottom of the river, shaking in all directions. A huge force bounced back the moment the array was broken, directly blasting into the devil's body, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. The blood was also black. Not good. This formation isn't the killing formation. The demon's expression changed and he suddenly felt a destructive power descend. It was the killing intent from before. Damn it, damn it. There's actually a formation outside the formation. The demon roared again and again. Unfortunately, he had used up all his energy in that attack and could no longer resist. The black color in his eyes slowly faded. Yunxiao's face gradually recovered, and when he opened his eyes again, he was calm. Who told you to mess around? You escaped after triggering the killing formation. You can't do anything but ruin things. At this moment, on the broken rainbow bridge, Go Riguang's eyes were wide open as he looked in horror at the waves that kept rising in the river and the river that was slowly turning black. A terrifying power that made his soul freeze came from below. Whoosh! A ray of light flew over. It was Go Xingguang, Ruan Xiling, and the others. Go Xingguang frowned and looked displeased. What's the matter? Why have you summoned me so urgently? Could it be that something has happened to that brat? This river is flowing. Uncle Go, is there really no problem? Ruan Xiling asked in shock. Go Xingguang's expression changed drastically as well. He stared down for a while before saying that brat must be struggling for his life down there, and that's why he triggered the Taihua Golden Talisman lock formation to reveal his killing intent. However, this shocking black energy far exceeds that kid's strength. What's going on? He asked suspiciously. Ruan Xiling licked his dry lips and said, do you think he will break the formation or destroy the Nephilim? When he thought of this possibility, he was so scared that he trembled. The consequences of that matter were definitely not something he could bear. Young Master Xiling is overthinking. Although this kid is a little strange, it's a joke if he says he can break the Taihua Gold Talisman locking formation, or the Nephilims. Go Xingguang said confidently. Have you forgotten the origin of this Agarine, young Master Xiling? He asked with a smile. Back then, the old city lord had obtained it by accident. Even with his shocking cultivation, he was still affected by this Agarine and became extremely crazy. Later on, we tried all means to peek into the secrets of the Agarine but were still unable to find it, so we invited the world's experts to lay down this Taihua Gold Talisman locking formation and placed it 200 li north of Red Moon City, letting us three brothers guard it. If that brat can break the formation and the stone, then the matter of the old city lord back then would really be a joke. Hearing his words, Yuan Xiling was relieved and said, I also remember now. The reason why the old city lord abdicated so early was also because of the influence of this Agarine. He gave up the position of city lord to Jiang Churan, and there has been no news of him since then. His eyes were filled with hatred as he said, if the old city lord hadn't left, Gu Feiyang might have died in the Red Moon City. It wouldn't have caused our Yuan family's talent to decline. There's no need to be sad, young Master Xiling, Go Xingguang said with an apologetic smile. The moon has its ups and downs, and there's no such thing as a clan that's always strong. After so many years of hiding their strength and biding their time, the Yuan family now has young Master Zimao and young Master Xiling. In the future, they will definitely become the #1 family in Red Moon City. Yes, I hope so. From what you said just now, Yuan Xiling said, I'm also convinced that Li Yunxiao is dead for sure. It's getting late. Tomorrow, my big brother will hold a gathering of heroes in the Wind and Moon building. I'll take my leave first. If there's any change in the situation here, inform me immediately. Don't worry, there won't be any changes, replied Go Xingguang with a smile. The three of us have been guarding this place for too long. I hope that young Master Xiling can deal with the higher-ups and transfer us away. Yes, I'll try my best to deal with this matter, Yuan Xiling said. He secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He had finally gotten rid of that fiend. The only problem was that too many martial honors had died, and it would be difficult to explain to the higher-ups. Fortunately, the Red Moon City was powerful and did not have much of an impact. Under the turbulent river, a ferocious aura circulated. The killing intent was soul-threatening, and all the living creatures in the water lost their lives instantly. It became a land of certain death. Yunxiao regained control of his body, and his eyes grew solemn as he said to himself, this formation is enough to be ranked as one of the world's top killing formations. Could it be that it's all for this so-called Agarine? Even the devil is so excited to see this stone. It seems that if I don't take it, I'll be letting myself down. The inextinguishable golden body on his body flickered, and his body moved forward quickly in the water. He was about to get the decadent stone on the altar. Suddenly, an attack shot out from the water at an extremely fast speed, blocking his way forward. Voila! Yunxiao turned back and held the cold sword in his hand. He raised the sword and threw out the dragon-slaying sword technique to meet the light. Boom! The two attacks collided underwater, forming a whirlpool that rapidly spun. This stone is indeed the key, and it is also the source of energy for the formation. How do I remove it? Yunxiao was suddenly caught in a dilemma. The closer he got to the Agarine, the stronger the murderous force he felt. But, even if he did not get close, the array was already in operation, and it would crush him into ashes sooner or later. The flowing river water around him had become a killing weapon for the formation. The water contained endless murderous intent, and if he didn't have the imperishable golden body to support it, he would have become hundreds of millions of pieces of flesh. This Shui Chanqian didn't even give off such a sharp pressure earlier, but it's getting stronger and stronger now. The formation started operating when the demon broke the inner formation. This kind of killing formation is an all-out attack with every strike, so there's no reason for it to become stronger. Yunxiao was horrified. If he allowed the array to continue running, even his half-completed indestructible golden body would not be able to last long.